All right, it is no fun to go after Harini. My name is Leah Siebert. I'm so glad to be with you today. I am representing Strava Denver. So if you think it's cold here, we have like ice slicks at home. So super excited to be here in San Francisco. Today's actually my 1-year anniversary. So super happy about that. It's kind of a sad photo, but on the right there is a picture of my day one. Bunch of chairs rattling around and representing both like the incredible growth that office was about to go through, and in fact we are almost 30 people today, and also this like exciting sort of anticipation about what it means to be one of the first ones on the ground there. So just about 30 people, 2 product teams, and many other groups starting to form up. We like to take photos in elevators, and I think the tightness of that is part of what makes that team fun. So excited to be here today. I'm going to share sort of two themes of stories. One, how I got to Strava, and then what we work on in Strava Business and what that even means. So I've been fortunate to sort of make my way around the block in terms of the different functional roles. I started my career as an engineer, designer of physical things. So the picture there is, and the question that I was trying to tackle is, how can I deliver this stent to and through really diseased parts of the body in order to extend someone's life? That was incredibly motivating, but also really tough because you never got to see the impact of your work. I was just talking to someone earlier today about how you'd have to wait for somebody from sales or one of the 10 doctors that you're trying to influence to come and give you the case story. So from engineering, I moved into design. I was fortunate to be one of the early members of the Stanford D School, and I hope some of you have had a chance to experience that. We'll talk about it a little bit more. There was designing physical spaces to try to change behaviors of teams. So how can I create an environment that helps people think differently about the problems they're trying to solve? In this case, we actually were working with WNYC on the design of a new morning program. And we wanted to understand the best way to get them to get to those breakthrough ideas. So we actually brought the studio to morning. So saturate in the users who they'll ultimately try to appeal to. They're at the Caltrain station on University Avenue. So designing the environment to unlock a team was part of the mindset as a designer. And then finally, this more recent chapter has been in digital product development, where that experimentation and that exploration can be so fast and really fun. I'm personally really passionate about how people share expertise with each other, and I've been able to work on that in education, in shopping, and e-commerce, and more recently in health and wellness. This is a really old picture from my days at ModCloth, where people were, this is like before Instagram what it is today, but people were sharing photos about outfits they had curated and invited others to use that as a way to shop the site. So 3 chapters of career, all, believe it or not, they don't quite hang together in the way that you'd expect, but led me to Strava. Oops, not yet. So just a quick thing on the D School. One of the takeaways that has totally influenced the way I think about product and product development is not only how are you doing in the development of your solution, but is your team asking the right question? So if I took the 7 years that I spent there and gave you a 10-second crash course, it would be work as hard as you can to frame the problem in a meaningful way. And if you do that, your outcomes will be so much better. So we're going to practice that together. Imagine we are all a team, and we have gone out to collect some data and research on our space. And here's one of those data points. I don't know how that's probably skipping around. So we'll just try the easy part first. Tell me, what do you observe? What do you see in this moment? Some working out, kids, Peloton. Danger. Say that again? Kids being kids, great. Spending time together, perfect. The wind blown, yeah, the blonde curly hair. No clothes, shoes that don't fit, maybe the tossing of a dumbbell. Anyway, so we're observing directly what's going on here. Now, imagine, again, we are the product team that's reviewed all this data. What do we think, what's the opportunity here? What is the problem to solve? These are our users. What do they need? Shoes that fit. A babysitter. Right. So, great. So some of these came out, right? They need a smaller bike. They need safer toys. Maybe mom needs a lock on the workout room. So we distill all this data and we take it back to our team and we say, okay, great. Like, the problem to solve is a kid-sized bike. And it's a little bit like, wah. You just, like, where's the opportunity to innovate there? You really constrain that in such a tough way. So the takeaway is that it's hard. Imagine that we did some extra work and the problem to solve might be a way to capture something memorable about a workout in the basement. This is actually very close to a problem that the Strava Business team has to think about. This is an image from one of my activities at Strava. That blonde is mine, believe it or not. And what, for me, this is a bike in a basement with no GPS map, no rainbows in the sky, no data. Well, how do I tell a story about these types of workouts and how does that show up at Strava? The only way that we can really unlock that is to start to work against these questions in really meaningful ways. So Strava Business, I've kind of been throwing that around. What does that even mean? This is a vertical team, meaning cross-functional group of product people, designers, engineers, our counterparts here in San Francisco on the business development team, the API team. So we think and dream all day about how to thoughtfully integrate brands into the experience. We believe there's like really meaningful, athlete-relevant way to do that, and also in support of the growth of this company. What's fun about this portfolio is that we have new explorations as well as existing products that are doing really well today. So there's a good balance and problems like the ones we just looked at to solve on the horizon. Also, much of the team is willing to come out to the Rocky Mountains in ATV with us, so that's great too. Good people. So if you think about this question, framing this question, we've applied that to challenges. That's one of the products that we work on. So a challenge is a goal and a time horizon, something like run your fastest 10K this month. Now, there's a ton of good data on how that contributes to motivation and accountability and why people like to participate in challenges. But the question, or at least the jumping off point, the question that we need to make better and better all the time is how can a partner motivate athletes in challenges? And even can they? So we developed the product to help ourselves answer that question. And this is how we lean into that existing work. Instead of being micro-focused on the kid-sized bike, change that button, make it more prominent, get more joiners. Like, what is the partner actually doing? Can they play a role to feel like a coach? What is their role here that makes it exciting? So on the left, we have a picture of the athlete profile. There's a trophy case in the middle there, and that's how athletes at Strava like to showcase the challenges that they've finished and reflect on what they've done, and the brands can play a role there. In the middle, it's the Oakley sponsored challenge, and maybe it's a little bit about redeeming a reward. I've actually been surprised to find that that's a little bit less of a motivation, this like transactional outcome. And then on the right, we're exploring new ways to communicate that challenge to people. The progress in challenges to people and keep them motivated. So challenges are an existing product. Another horizon that we think about a lot is how can partners help athletes tell the story of their activity. We saw that a little bit in that basement Denver workout. It's really natural that a partner can play a role when it is the experience. So on the left, we have an example of our Zwift, we call them partner integrations. I have ridden in this virtual world, and Zwift is bringing content through the image, they're bringing data, and they're helping me represent this activity in a way that I really couldn't do on my own. So there's a natural connection for them to play there, and we're exploring how that looks across many different activities and partner types, always coming back to this question of, are they helping me tell a better story? That and the way that we frame that leads before we sort of layer on the revenue goals and otherwise. And then the third one this is more future facing, and this is tied to that, back to that shopping and education and health and wellness, but how do people want to share their expertise? And do people want to tell stories about products they love? This is something that we've not attempted to build yet here at Strava, but we do see some really organic behaviors around it. So on the left, the title of that activity says New Kicks, longer than expected, first time around Sloan's Lake, new shoes feel good. So without any tools or any support for people to start to share with each other what they like and what they use about the products that they show up with in their activity, we're seeing that happen. And even more directly on the right, a story about how those shoes showed up for that athlete in that moment. So existing products, new explorations, and really future-facing work. If I leave you with one, back to our crash course moment, one thing to take away, our job is not to phase features. Maybe that's part of it, but if we only focus on that, on the X, on the Y axis, the solution and how the solution evolves over time, we're kind of missing the point or missing the opportunity. Your impact can be so much greater if you are mindful of where you are on this map all the time. So is our solution right or wrong? And are we solving the right problem? If you're solving the wrong problem, nobody cares. You're in the wrong space. In order to move on to that happy place of the solution is resonating, our approach to solve a meaningful problem is right. That's what we're going for, and that's all about asking good questions. That's it. Thank you.